Hello, I'm Karen Brooks, Executive Director of Early Music America, and it's my pleasure and honor today to introduce the 2021 recipient of Early Music America's Thomas Binkley Award, which is for outstanding achievement in scholarship and performance by the director of a university or college early music ensemble. And it is my enormous pleasure today to announce that the 2021 award is going to go to Gwyn Roberts from Philadelphia. She is an outstanding performer, educator, and music director. And Gwyn, we are thrilled that you are receiving this award. It is so well deserved.
Well, I'm touched and surprised and honored and actually kind of shocked. But thank you so much. And thank you to my colleagues who decided to put my name forward for this. It's surprisingly really meaningful to me this week to know that this has happened. And I can't say thank you enough.
Oh, well, I'm delighted to hear that, Gwyn. Yes, it was a number of your colleagues who put you forward for this award, and you know that they're the ones who matter in this field in so many ways. I would like very much for us to just see an excerpt of Gwyn playing with her ensemble, Tempesta di Mare, that she founded a number of years ago in Philadelphia. So let's just listen to a little bit of music. That was beautiful and so wonderful to see you all playing without masks and with an audience.
That was the last concert that we played before the pandemic. In fact, that was February 29th of 2020. Oof. And we were all about to get on an airplane to go to Germany and perform a bunch of concerts, including playing that concerto in Leipzig in Bach's church on his birthday, which didn't happen, but will now in 2022. So we're looking forward to the rescheduled tour.
Well, that's very, very good to know. And although we saw Gwyn there as a soloist, I think she often prefers to think of herself as a team player and somebody who, as an educator, somebody who works with a lot of people to produce the best results. And I'd like to bring in now a guest, one of your former students, to just say a few words about you as an educator. So, JT Mitchell, would you like to join us?
Hi, everyone. Hi, Karen. Hi, Gwyn.
Hi, JT.
Hi. So lovely to be here. That was just such a wonderful piece. I was just dancing in the background. So, yes, I'm honored to be here today. It's just a privilege and truly a joy to have Gwyn here as truly the most deserving recipient that I could ever think of for this award. I had Gwyn as a professor for 2 years at Peabody, where I got my master's degree in Baroque flute, and additionally some recorder studies. Thank you, Gwyn, much needed. And from there, I mean, truly, she's just the all-encompassing consummate musician. She is an amazing performer, a teacher, and truly even more, she's one of my best friends. Gwyn has just always been there for me, not only as a teacher, a colleague, a coworker, almost in some sense, and just truly just an icon. She's iconic. Gwen is truly iconic, and she is just, Gwen can do anything, right? Like if I'm busted, I might not know what I'm looking for, a random piece in this one genre and this one part of the world, and she just gives you 20 names. I'm like, wow, she's also a dictionary. But Gwen is just amazing, fabulous, and truly no one more deserves this than Gwen.
Thank you so much, JT. It's been my privilege to work with generations of students, especially with you, and with all sorts of people who've come through Penn and Peabody. And I guess one thing that has always been important to me is I am always just myself. So I don't have a separate persona as a teacher, which makes it easy to have this continuum of relationship with somebody like you, where after you're done, we're colleagues and we're still the same people.
Of course.
So I'm glad that comes through to you. And I'm so thrilled to see you having great successes in your life now too.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you so much, JT. I'd love to talk to you, Gwyn, a little bit just about your career as an educator and what drove you to that path at the beginning. I mean, you've had more than 2 decades working now with the Penn Early Music Ensemble. You've worked at Amherst Early Music. You have introduced a lot of engagement work with Tempesta. All of that is clearly incredibly important to you. So what has driven you on that path?
Well, I guess I'm passionate about a bunch of things, including about the music that I love to explore and play and shape in performances by both professionals and students and amateurs. But also something that's been a really important thing to me all my life in every sphere is figuring out how people learn. And therefore thinking about how to use time in rehearsal and in coaching sessions and in lessons to enable whoever I'm working with on the other side of the time to go forth and produce the music from themselves. So, for example, in working with Tempesta, my big fascination over what is now, we're about to enter our 20th season. We just finished our 19th season. My fascination has been with how do you get a group of 20-some opinionated adult professional musicians to go into a rehearsal process on one side of 3 days and come out on the other side of the 3 days, all marching in the same direction artistically. So that's about time management. It's about thinking about the right combination of play and talk and demonstrate, and figuring out how to make the whole time feel productive and not pressured. So that's been my fascination everywhere. So in coaching and teaching, for example, ensembles at Penn or Peabody, or even at a workshop, it's how can I use the time we have to enable the people in this room to speak the music appropriately, but also in their own voice by the end of it, so that it's not me ever conducting a Penn ensemble. I don't conduct, but rather enabling through how I use their time for them to perform the music as themselves, but inside the style. So that's been my job. In teaching private students, such as JT or anybody else, similarly, how can I use lesson time not to tell people what to do, but to enable them essentially to become their own teachers? And
that sounds like a fantastic set of skills to impart. And I mean, time management is something that everybody can gain from immeasurably, but I think as a musician, it's absolutely critical.
I think so too. I mean, you don't see me directing Tempesta, right? I mean, you might see me cueing inside the wind section, but the whole rehearsal process is absolutely key to what we do, and that's been my baby the whole time that we've been doing this. In addition to having musical opinions, but that right there is, along with my fascination, I guess, with with just expanding the repertoire, expanding the canon, finding out what's more of the best old music that we've never heard, has been behind all of my programming professionally, but also behind what I hope I've been instilling as curiosity and a sense of adventure in my students at all the institutions and even my private students where I am. I want people to become, curious repertoire hounds in addition to everything else. So.
Well, thank you. I mean, you talked about this being your baby. I think you've created many, many grandbabies around the place, all out there as repertoire hounds and people spreading the word. I think you've created many generations of musicians who've learned and have gone into the world either as musicians or taking the skills they've learned from you to apply in other ways, and then have become supporters of this music. So.
It is the coolest thing to run into former students, either, in an ensemble somewhere, either my own or out in the world as colleagues, or as people who just remember their experience in my ensembles doing other things with life. So it's been extremely gratifying.
Well, thank you very much, Gwyn. And I'd like to end now with some more music from a composer, Rebel, who we hadn't heard much of until a few years ago. And now we're beginning to hear a lot more performances.